Hey folks, good to be here. I'm very happy today to present you Capture the Signal. This is a contest we came up with about 4 years ago with Federico. He's in call with me today, and Jonathan, colleague of us at Trend Micro. The idea of Capture the Signal is to have a contest in which contestants have to reverse radio signals that we distribute either over here at conference or streaming over the internet. We wanted to make this contest flexible in a way that we have both script kiddies, or people that never got into reverse engineering signals, to learn something, as well as more advanced contestants that can tackle more difficult problems. So we started the contest really in 2018 at a conference like PAXEC and Hack in the Box. This is because we had contact with organizers, and they were very much happy to have like a village in which people can show up and play with us. And then we extended in 2019 to additional conference, for example, in Vancouver, as well as in Hack in the Box Amsterdam. We also developed a system in Amsterdam in which contestants could play remotely in a kind of hybrid environment where they could join us from the internet, basically. And for that, we developed a framework to be able to stream these signals over IP. And that came very much useful over the last 2 years due to the lockdown imposed by the regulations, in which we run the contest entirely over the internet. So for that, there are a few challenges, especially when it comes to regulation of the fact of not being able to transmit over the air. For example, when we run at Hack in the Box Abu Dhabi, we were not allowed to transmit these radio challenges over the air. That's why we came up with the first idea of voice over IP streaming. And for that, we use GNURadio, and Federico now is going to tell you pretty much all the framework we develop, both to stream the signals over the air as well as to receive the signals. Especially the part for receiving the signals is very much useful when you want to play with us in order to connect to our radio infrastructure.
Okay, thank you, Marco. What the framework will provide is that, which is the most important thing of having the CTS as a release tool, is that the framework will take care of everything that is not focusing on a challenge, that is distracting you from developing a challenge. So if you're a challenge developer and you want to have contestants solve your challenge, you just focus on developing a GRC flow graph as you would normally do, and the framework will take care of tunneling and dividing the spectrum into slices and mapping them to a port range and so on. And on the other side, I will show you later, the contestants will also have support from the tool to be able to receive signals as they would in a concrete on site with a real transmitter. What we ask the developers is to, as I said, focus on developing a GRC and make sure that you make it configurable and parametric. That's why I highlighted down there a CFG file, which contains, it's an init file, native format supported by GNURadio, where you can specify parameters and various settings for your signals, so that when you deploy it and you want to change it later on, you don't have to reopen GNURadio Companion or do any heavy editing. You can simply change the signal, maybe to adapt it to another conference and make minor changes. And then together with that, you have the signal GRC, of course, and a few other files that are needed to support, for example, if you have Python requirements and so on. And then we have a make file that will automate the building, the compilation of the GRC into Python, and any other automation that you need to do in the deployment phase. So we wanted the experience of the CTS deployer to be very easy as running Docker And what will happen now is that, for example, in this case, we have one signal up and running, but if you want, you can bring up all the signals at once and the contestants can start playing. And as I said, on the other side, the experience is very smooth. Because the contestants will run a client which will connect to a ZMQ streamer essentially on whatever server you want to host this. And then what they will have is a FIFO, which they can use as a receiver of IQ samples. So the experience is to tune to a FIFO if you want, which most of the tools support out of the box. And then what they have is that the tool will inform them of the sample rate, of the sampling rate, sorry, and then they can start receiving a signal as they would be receiving it with, for example, in this case, GQRX or Osmocon or even GNURadio, of course. So what you will experience at GRCon 2021 is unfortunately not the full CTS experience in the sense that we don't have enough time to assist you during the conference because if we stream live, of course, we want to be able to assist contestants in case they have any problems and so on. But unfortunately, our schedule could not, I mean, we couldn't change our schedule for this week. So we decided to still host it as an offline challenge, as an offline series of challenges, which are still linked together in some way that you will find out while playing. Essentially, one solution to a challenge will give you hints to solve the next one and so on. So for now, what we ask you to do is to head over to cts.GNURadio.org and create an account to the scoreboard so you can start reading the instructions as soon as possible and hopefully have fun and play. And we hope that will inspire you to bring the CTS to your event. What you can do, if maybe you like it, you can host it. You can host your own CTS, and that's why we decided to release it at Black Hat Arsenal 2021 in the USA. And here you find a link to the full-size video. It's 40 minutes where Marco, myself, and Jonathan Anderson go through the details of the CTS. We explain you how the internals work, the little bit of story of CTS, and we'll explain you how you can host it. It's very modest requirements. So with a simple AWS account and a few $100, you can run it very easily for an entire week. Thank you for watching this far, and have fun reversing signals.